medical doctor work for 9 months, 16 months, 19 months without getting paid.
But you see how much kidnappers are eating from victims.
My bill is government should I think all the stakeholders in that sector, they need to be spoken to, we sit together and appeal to them.
The 3% for the oil producing community is too low.
So the support that is needed, and once you get the support, your airlines will blossom.
This is Nigeria. You need to give people sense of belonging.
Good morning and welcome to Inside Nigeria, reaching you from the studios of Leadership Podcast. And today, this morning, I'll be your host as Bode Gbadebo is unavoidably absent. And Inside Nigeria will be dissecting major headline stories on our staple leadership newspaper and national economy. We'll also be looking at other news stories from other newspaper houses. I remain Winifred Ugbebo, and I have with me here a public affairs analyst and also a columnist with national economy. He is Chief Robert Okpara. You're welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. Before we come over to our headlines today, we'll be going on a short break. Don't go away. Welcome back. We are moving over to our staple, the nation's most leading and influential newspaper, Leadership. Leadership has on its cover today, Monday, 13th September 2021, troops on red alert in Kaduna, Katsina, Niger as bandits flee Zamfara. Troops on red alert in Kaduna, Katsina, Niger as bandits flee Zamfara. And the story has bullets underneath it. Key 14 bandits, that is the troops, Nigerian troops, key 40 bandits, vow to sustain onslaught against terrorists. Military disowns gory pictures on Zamfara operations. 31 Bethel students still in captivity 68 days after. CAN, that is CAN, Christian Association of Nigeria. Troops on red alert in Kaduna, Katsina, Niger as bandits flee Zamfara. Mr. Robert, that is our headline story on the stable leadership.
It actually shows that the Nigerian government, our military, they still have their jobs, cut out, for them. It shows that the end of this banditry. In one of my columns recently, I called it banditry PLC, because that is what is driving amongst these criminals lately. And so, Igbo man will always tell us that if you do a process over and over and over again and expect different results, it become madness. So here we go again. That I need to say this, that our military, the government of the day, they've not actually designed a process of making sure that they decimate these bandits and criminals around the country. So until they find a better approach and solution to fight this battle, it will remain the same all over and all over again.
Okay. So with this military onslaught in Zamfara, are you not expecting hope that at the end of the day the bandits will be annihilated?
See, these fights, I've said it in one of those days I used to run programs on different TV channels in Nigeria. I did say during the 9/11 decimation of Americans, I told Nigerians then that that fight that started then is not is actually a fight of hearts and minds. It's not a normal conventional warfare. And until Nigerian government designs a methodology on how to tackle terrorism in the country, it's not just about carrying guns. It's not about carrying weapons and buying the latest state of the art fighting machines and helicopters and stuff like that. That's not where this battle is. The battle is in the mind and heads of these terrorists. If you are decimating them, and these are people that actually can't wait to die. So to them, death is no longer an issue. They've already signed to die. So until the government goes in with parapsychologists, with people that can actually do proper brainwashing of these kids and make sure that they understand that the road they are traveling on, even though politicians are using them to win elections and do what they need to do and attack their enemies and all that, unless somebody that they trust, someone that knows them, that can actually do a parapsychological brainwash on these children, they will continue to think that this is the way to go. But for now, Nigerian government, they're not having it. They've not designed a method, by which they can win this process.
Chief Okpara, but I would thought it's something to chat about, because the first rider says the Nigerian troop has already killed 40 bandits, 40 in Zamfara State.
Yeah, if you kill 40 bandits, look at the number of people that they are kidnapping. Look at the number of children in schools that they are kidnapping. So these militaries and these are security agents around Zamfara. Today you hear 40, tomorrow you hear 80, the other day so I don't think we're winning the war for now, because we've not designed a process by which we can win this war.
So what do you think ought to be done by the federal government to sustain and win this war?
See, there is no criminal in Nigeria that has no local government. There's no criminal in Nigeria that has no father or mother or cousin or brothers and sisters. In other words, traditional rulers in our villages, in our communities, in our emirates, they know who these people are. So unless these people begin the process of collaborating with the government, in collaboration with the government, they must also receive a somewhat cover that their face will not be revealed. So until the government decides to use whistleblowers and say, okay, I know this guy, he's from this emirate, he's from here, let's go and talk to his father, let's go and talk to his mother, let's go and talk to his uncle. And they can actually, most of these kids their mindset have been kidnapped by people that are using them. So until we realize that unless we touch the hearts and minds of these boys, they will not let go. Because they'll be brainwashed that they are going to go to heaven when they die. But they don't realize that they will have to die first. And dying first means that they may face a terrible way of dying and all that. So we need to, have a bargain as to how to approach this. For now, we're just using the guns, barrels of guns, which will not do the job.
Thank you so much, Chukwu. So away from leadership newspaper, our darling staple, we move over to national economy. The national economy, Chukwu, that is where you are a columnist.
Sure.
Okay. And on the cover today of national economy says 189,765 Nigerians sign up for retirement plans in 7 months. 189,765 Nigerians signed up for retirement plans in 7 months. And the rider says, as PENCON latest figures show increase from 9.2 million to 9.4 million. That is business. National economy is all about business.
Yeah, that's a serious business. That's also if I say that it gives a confidence boost, to PENCON that probably they are doing something that is inspiring. to Nigerian workers and stuff like that. If that's a good assessment, kudos to to Pencom.
Okay, that is good. But as for retirement, do you see? Okay, it shows that many people are going to leave the system in 7 months' time.
Not necessarily. If I'm correct here, the bottom line is that people signing up to this process that is either they can't wait to leave, or they will get a bumper process by the time they leave. So whichever way it comes, I think there's no retiree in Nigeria today that from what we see in this economy that is going to have a quality right. And so if they are lucky,
you see in some states how they are still battling for their pension.
Some of these pensioners in across the states and region and zones of this country, a lot of them die on queues, waiting to even regularize their details and stuff like that. I remember when Richard Sokoracha was governor, quite a few people in my state, actually died in their quest to just collect 20,000 or 10,000 or 5,000 and stuff like that. And so I don't think the pension issue has been gotten right, very, very right so far. The police network is also going through that army process, and retirees in different organizations. I'm not too sure that they are finding it easy because they are still shopping from the same market you and I are buying from. So if they can manage 5,000 and 2,000 and 3,000 for their children and grandchildren, that's not too much of a thing.
Okay, thank you so much, Ifokpara. From national economy, we are moving ahead to the Nation newspaper. What has Nation got to tell Nigerians this morning? On the cover, Nation says presidency. Buhari will respect court verdict on VAT. Presidency. Buhari will respect court verdict on VAT.
If that's the case, then my name is.
There has been an imbroglio over VAT collection in Rivers State and Lagos since 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
So the presidency is coming out because since the president has been mum over the issue, and now it's coming out to say that the President Muhammad Buhari respect court verdict on VAT. What's your take on this?
If I believe this right now, if I believe this, then my name is no longer Robert, because I know that there's no way Mr. President will be comfortable in letting the state win this battle. So I don't know how he's going to win it. All I know is that the fight with Lagos State and Rivers State is offering. I know that Sanwo-Olu is not a typical Wike. Wike, fights headlong. Sanwo-Olu fights intellectually and all that. So I don't know how he's going to win this. Where almost all the states are ganging up right now to ensure that what Wike did is what will be replicated in their different states. So this fight, just like we discussed here a few days ago on the VAT fight, I did say, to the panel that the only way this thing can give Nigerians a soft landing is only through a political solution, where Nigerian governors and the presidency and the hawks at the presidency that can't take no for an answer, they all need to sit down, sit back, because at the end of the day, if your state is manufacturing this, your state is giving out contracts to produce this, and at the end of the day, you're paying VAT. Do you understand? And you're paying that VAT to the federal government, and you have to wait for the federal government to remit the VAT accruable to your state. That is why Wike is blowing horn in River State. He says, if I pay my contractor 30 billion and there's a 10% VAT, for instance, or 7%, whatever is the vatable percentage, at the end of the day, he will feel better, collecting his VAT at source than paying the wholesome amount to the federal government, who will now come back and now give him stipends. And by the way, he's insisting that we all know that all the other states that are not, selling liquor and alcohol, they pretend that they don't need the money. But at the end of the day, when that money is shared by the federal government, the people, the states, Lagos State and River State that is making all the money through the VAT, through contracts, they are not considered. And so how can you pay Zamfara or pay KB or pay Jigawa? These are people that are destroying liquor in their states. So what are they doing getting revenue from VAT? If you don't want VAT, then if you don't want alcohol in your state, then don't do longer throat over VAT. That's the bottom line.
VAT on alcohol.
Yes. So and River State and Lagos State, the majority part of their VAT revenue comes from these alcoholics and all that. So at the end of the bottom line is that if all the states governors go ahead and sue the federal government, they will hit up the polity. So it's better that Mr. President and his hawks, call these truths and get all the governors on the round table and say, listen, guys, this is my take. This is what I'm offering. This is how we're going to do this. So that, because when two elephants fight, you know what happens to the grass.
Yes. Chibokara, but since it's a constitutional thing, because you are so vehement that Buhari may not respect the court verdict on that.
Because his antecedent doesn't show that.
If it's a constitutional thing, do you think the president would muzzle the court to have its way?
I think this is a conversation that we can hold off camera, but at the end of the day, Mr. President will never be comfortable losing a battle of that, a revenue process into the coffers of Nigeria. He is not going to be.
But it goes beyond him. Actually, the president has just 2 years to go, less than 2 years to go.
So many things that are happening in this country today that is landing on the table of Mr. President. Those things should have gone beyond him, but they are not. So let me not start another political war on this program. But I know that certainly there's no way Mr. President will accept defeat in this process.
Okay. The writer also says NNPC posted profit result because government stopped impunity of the past.
That's the language of the presidency.
NNPC posted profit result because government stopped impunity of the past.
There's impunity everywhere. I don't buy that. There's impunity
for the first time in the history of NNPC.
That's what we are told. There's impunity in every fabric of governance in this country. There's impunity. There's impunity in not allowing women to be part of the political mainstream. That's number one. That's impunity there. And there's impunity.
But nobody stopped them.
There's impunity in not allowing the youth even to come close to know their middle names. There's impunity in not providing jobs for the youth and women. There's impunity in our aged mothers and fathers that have toiled their entire life span working for this country and they're not, properly enumerated. So I think I don't believe this.
Okay, thank you so much. From the Nation, we move over to Blueprint newspaper this morning. Yes, Blueprint is almost like leadership newspaper on the cover today. It has troops crush fleeing Zamfara, Katsina bandits in Niger. Troops crush fleeing Zamfara, Katsina bandits in Niger. And it has so many riders, 6 machine guns, AK-47 rifles recovered. Ekwa cleric killed in Kaduna. El-Rufai says subcommittee as skills resume. Gunmen kill one in Benue. /Taraba border communities calls abducted. Abductors place 50 million naira ransom on pastor's wife, 2 daughters in Abuja. That is it for Blueprint newspaper today.
Banditry
It's like
PLC, all of
Leadership
them.
newspaper. It has the same headline.
Yeah, it's the same thing I'm going to say on this program. With all these machine guns and AK-47 rifles being recovered and all that, you know what is the benefit that Nigerians are getting? We are still getting. We are. Nigerian farmers are not finding it easy with hoodlums.
Yes.
You know, but at the end of the day, people are decimated in their own family homes and are being prevented to defend themselves. So until I don't want to be reading, displaying troops, crush fleeing Zamfara and all that stuff. These and the bandits. We need a political solution. We need a solution that will be long lasting. When Jonathan was in power, remember the Chibok girls, and they came out. They promised, Mr. President based his campaign on the fact that he will crush, these criminals. But he hasn't, and he actually gave a deadline under which he can make sure that Nigeria is safe. But this thing has become a continuous decimal in our system. So again, they've not found a solution to fighting this battle. So these newspaper writers and these beautiful headlines can also be designed for PR purposes. But for me, the battle is still out there.
Yeah, talking about political we, I understand your resignation over political we, but don't you think that, it predates insurgency in this country, predates the current government? Remember Jonathan, Goodluck Jonathan, many people accuse him of not paying enough attention to tackling security during his days as president.
But can we do comparative analysis between when Jonathan was in power and then today? Even the blind beggar on the street knows that the insurgency has increased. And so, where's the solution? What have they put on ground as checks to ensure that this thing does not skyrocket the way it is going? So, yes, Jonathan did his own. They campaigned as an incoming government who promised to do a whole lot to decimate terrorism in the country. Like I said again, terrorism may not be decimated completely until we fight this battle through a different channel. And that channel is making sure that hearts and minds of these young boys and women, can be attacked and brought down to brass tacks.
So does that mean that you're in support of this? They are surrendering now. We learned that they are surrendering, and the federal government is considering giving them amnesty.
I don't.
So is that another way of appealing to their minds?
Amnesty, giving them amnesty. Maybe they are borrowing a leaf from what happened in
Niger Delta.
in Niger Delta. But this thing is a whole. Niger Deltans were just doing an economic fight. But this is not an economic fight. This is terrorism. And these people, they can't wait to go to heaven. Period. And so we need to find a different format, a different platform, a different channel, and a different set of human beings that will anchor the efforts of the government. For now, it is still, even with the change of all the service chiefs, no much difference has happened.
Okay, thank you so much, Clara, for being with us in Leadership Studio for our newspaper review. It's been a pleasure having you in the program, and I look forward to seeing more of you in the program. And for our viewers out there, we apologize once again for bringing you a program a bit behind schedule. It was due to some circumstances beyond our control. But hopefully tomorrow we'll be having Inside Nigeria on our time, and which is 10 a.m. every day. So do keep a date with us. And I remain Winifred Webo. Bye.